on the streamer page, when I start the stream, it doesn't work. Okay, so jump to the analytics like it's supposed to, and I should get the stream. There it goes. Yay! Okay, now we're back on YouTube. YouTube's weird. From Seattle? Cool, cool. Well, hello from Milwaukee. Lexi. Okay, so, yeah. All right, so we should still be good here. Yeah. So the bots have proceeded to get fucked, which is good. Let me unlock my SSH key. Hold on. Okay. Oh, let me do this real quick too. What the hell? Why is stuff not working? Oh, am I hitting that stupid bug? No, because I should have the terminal somewhere. Alright, whatever. I got 3. Yeah, I got 3. Okay. Ugh. Fucking hell. Alright, well. We're not gonna do this right now. Apparently my stream token expired. It wants a new one. Though chat's broken for a minute because I gotta jump through some hoops to make that work because my normal browser instance, of course, has my normal Twitch login, not the bot's login. So like I gotta do like private window mode and all that bullshit. And we're just not gonna do that right now. So all right. Anyways, all right, so server is nice and happy now. Now that we've got Anubis deployed here, everything's happy. Cool. Ugh. Fun times. Oh, we got an S right. I'm gonna go pee and then we'll decide what we're gonna do next and stuff. But anyways, I'll be right back. All right. So, oh, I didn't even hit yes here. Damn it. Oh, wait, we have Grafana running on here? I forgot I had Grafana running on here. Is this a stream? Yep, I got a stream report from Streamlabs. Thanks. My stream stopped. All right. I forgot we have Grafana here. So, we're going to see if we can pull that up quick. Oh, shit. Hopefully that's not a problem. All right. So I have Grafana installed, but not... Oh, Grafana service. SSH tunnels. Woo! Oh, fuck. Super secure. Caddy hosts. Good, we do have this. So, huh. I wonder which site was getting crushed by AI bots. I don't know. Can anybody take a guess? I thought I could select which site, though. How far back? Last 24 hours. Let's go to last 48. Last 2 days. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I thought there was like a request per domain here. But either way, like, how much further back can we go? Okay, so I'm only saving like 2 weeks worth of data. Right, so last 7 days. Huh. Wonder what happened. 34% of my responses have been rate limiting. And another 33 are 418, which was the old bot crap. So 67% of the requests were bots. Were 100% bots. Only a third of the traffic got a legitimate response. That's insane. Absolutely insane. If I had ads, I'd be rich. Yeah. So this is just the last 2 hours even, or last 4 hours. Sixty-six response, 66% of the responses have been rate limit, slow the fuck down. 25 have been 418. That's the old bot stuff, right? So 91% of my responses in the last 6 hours have been fuck off. And all million of them were GET request. GET, not GIT. We got Anubis redeployed for HG Keeper, but now we're just looking at the graphs that I forgot we had. Like, can you see where I got Anubis running again? But yeah, I don't know. In the past 6 hours, Keep has pushed 500 gigs. Oh, okay. The other one is 7 days. Wait, what? This doesn't make sense. I don't know what that dashboard is supposed to mean, but yeah. But yeah, so the bots, the shitty Asian bots figured out how they're just running full blown JavaScript now. So they were able to defeat my detection. So now we had to go back to Anubis. But yeah. Is what it is, and what it is fucking bullshit. But AI is gonna be the future. No, AI is already here, and it's already fucking everything up. And it's destroying the internet. But it's fine. You can vibe code something to make money off of it in no time. Boom, boom. I thought there was a way to do this by host. Like, this one says it's caddy host, but... Please don't use this plugin. You must enable per host stats in your caddy config. E.g., I'm pretty sure that's already there. Yeah. Been there. Oh yeah, it has to. That's how the other part works. But like the rest of this isn't. Like this is definitely that dashboard. But like you can't grab a host name somewhere, which is weird. I'm never using AI. Like I don't use AI at all now. Why the do you think I would even start? For all intents and purposes, I will be dead before I use AI. I don't mean that as like an idle threat either. Like AI has nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. And the fact that I have to keep explaining this to people shows me that they do not understand how the current AI works at all, which is a whole nother problem, but I want to break down by sight, motherfuckers. Jesus. Maybe? That looks like it could be. Although... Oh. Was it in French? Oh, this doesn't look like it's in French. That's in French. The rest of the dashboard looks fine. Oh, the filters. Okay. Okay, apparently you need both for this. So, nope. This doesn't have filters on it. Like, I don't know how everybody recommends all these tools all the time, and then, like, there's nothing out there for this shit. Years ago, Theo said the same thing, and now he's building AI as his main life mission. Which Theo? I'm assuming not Theo Darat, or however you say his name. Yeah, eventually horses are replaced by cars. Yeah, but people still also ride horses, remember, too. But again, I will be 44 years old this year. That means I've got about 26 years to avoid using AI yet before I'm dead. I think I'm going to win that one. And by win that, I mean I won't use AI. And before you're like, well, so and so, blah, blah, blah. It's 2026 and I still use Mercurial over anything else. Oh, Twitch Theo? Yeah, I don't give a shit about that guy. Right, that's what you're talking about? Well, good for him. Don't care. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, don't care. Use it for recipes, for meal planning and ingredients list. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying people don't have a use for it. I'm saying I have no use for it. And it costs, and if anything, it costs me tons of fucking time, especially when all I'm trying to do is just fucking work and, you know, ignore it. But it's still just waste hours and hours of my time. Right? How much time have we been on the stream tonight dealing with fucking AI bots that are stopping me from working? Right? Like, I'm not trying to use the bots. I'm just trying to do my own thing. Not bug anybody else, but they're all up in my fucking business. And if I want to work at all, I've got to fucking tell them to fuck off and figure out how to tell them to fuck off. So, as I say to others, and I'll say again, I'm glad my forced labor is helping you do meal planning and getting your ingredient lists done. I'm glad you enjoyed my free forced fucking slavery labor. Freedom Dow, I don't fucking care about AI, and this is the last time I'm gonna fucking mention it. And please, go read the channel rules again, because I know tonight's a little different because we're dealing with AI bots, but I fucking hate AI. It literally says on the screen next to me, AI punks fuck off. I don't give a fuck about AI. It is a piece of fucking garbage that wastes my fucking time. I don't care which way you justify it to yourself. You're never ever going to fucking justify it to me. Is that clear, or do I need to continue? Like, I don't know how many times the fucking stream we got to talk about this. I got to remember this more and more. Look at all that AI shit all over the screen. Yay. Like there was somebody, was it last stream or the stream before? We got raided by somebody who was vibe coding. They're like, well, AI coding is coding. Like, I don't fucking care. I'm not here to debate it. I don't give a shit. Like, fuck. Like, Christ almighty. Like, I just... It boggles my mind how so many people just don't give a fuck about... Like, all people seem to care about is the end result of their code. Which, fine, whatever, right? That's what you want to do, that's cool. Why the hell you're trying to force that on me too? I don't fucking understand. Get that fucking rapist mentality out of here entirely. Keep it to your fucking self. But when somebody says no, it means fucking no. Whether it's about AI or you trying to put your dick in them. No means no. Fuck. This is multiple streams in a row now. I've had to use that exact fucking phrase. It goes the same way too. Rust developers. I don't want your Rust dick in my mouth. No means no. Fuck. And if you think I'm being crude, try putting up with this shit all the fucking time. And let me know how you feel about it. Because I'm gonna bet you're not gonna be like, oh yeah, it's fine. Yeah, but then why? So if you agree with this, why are you trying to stick your AI dick in my mouth? I'll wait. Waiting here patiently for a response is much better than somebody trying to force their AI dick into my mouth. Still waiting. The funny part is you seem to think that AI code is actually good, which is just objectively wrong. I mean, it's fine, you can believe that, but every bit of AI code I have ever looked at is utter fucking garbage. Which, if you just want to throw something together and release it and be fucking done with it and never touch it again, sure. But, like, you don't maintain a 28-year-old project that's written in AI code, because you can't. AIs, LLMs, whatever, they literally cannot do it. So this isn't a matter of, like, oh, you're just being closed-minded, blah, blah, blah. It's no, it literally doesn't work for me. And the fact that I have to explain it to the fucking evangelist is insane. It just... Fucking, oh, so fucking tired of it. Like, remember when semantic versioning became a thing? Semver.org, that's the website, that's what I can't remember. People that using AI, they don't know what semantic versioning is because their AI will never ever let them actually be able to implement semantic versioning. Because they don't control it. And they don't understand the fucking code. It's just... How many fucking ways can I explain this? Because none of them make sense. I guess I'm gonna have to use an LLM to be like, how the hell do I tell people that LLMs are fucking garbage and they shouldn't use them? And it's going to give me a 30-page fucking diatribe about it. All right, we're done. We're done. I'm just, like, you're not listening to me, and you're just pushing your shit, so bye. Like, not even timeout, just fucking banned. Bye. Oh, well, this big company did it. That means it's okay. I literally have shared in this stream a blog post about you, about how a big company like Cloudflare is violating everybody's privacy. And everybody still recommends Cloudflare. That doesn't make anything better. Fuck. Keep your AI dick to yourself. Stop trying to force it into people. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Oh, well, this company said whatever. Yeah, companies are full of fucking shit. They don't even pay people a living wage enough so that people won't burn down their fucking warehouses. But yeah, let's do a big company used AI. Yeah. Fuck. Like, I don't know if part of it is just like Twitch viewers, Twitch programming viewers are more like not applicable, but more amenable to AI or what. But Christ, it is fucking exhausting, man. Like I say, I don't want to talk about AI. Well, you should really blah, blah, blah. You're going to fall behind, blah, blah, blah. I don't fucking care. Like, I don't know how to get more clear. Well, you see, this company does this and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Well, the blah, I don't. This is why we get people banned. Because they just don't fucking shut up. It's absolutely insane. It's so fucking stupid. And then the best part is I end up looking like the asshole too. Even though I told them no 18,000 fucking times. And they kept trying to rape me with their bullshit. But I end up looking like the bad guy. Rapists get off the hook again. Go figure. Seems to be the world we live in for some fucking reason. And people seem to tolerate it. Absolutely blows my fucking mind. We're trying not to anymore, but yes, it's not. The thing is, it's not just AI, right? AI is the current fucking big problem, but you know, in the past, it was the same shit with NFTs. It's the same thing with crypto. It's the same thing with metaverse, 3D TVs, all this bullshit. Everybody gets so hyped up. They think it's the future. They don't want to fall behind. So, you know, if you don't follow them and don't believe in it, you're the asshole. And they're going to try to convert you regardless. And it's stupid. It's so fucking, it's such a waste of just everybody's time and effort. And yet they'd still do it. Oh, you should use a tabbed window manager. Oh, you shouldn't use X. You should use Wayland. Wayland's the future. Oh, you shouldn't use IPv4. IPv4's legacy. You should use IPv6. Just calm the fuck down. Fuck. Like, can we just, like, not be assholes to each other? What the fuck? It's so... A while ago, I unfriended friends on Mastodon because we were talking about the Mastodon urine review thing. And they were like, well, that only works for Mastodon.social users. And I'm like, points to my username? I'm like, oh, you shouldn't be on that instance, blah, 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 blah. Dude, fuck off. You've got a lot of opinions for somebody who doesn't fucking, who isn't a lot. You have a lot of opinions about my life for somebody that isn't me. Exactly, Ryu. Exactly. That's how this stuff goes, and it's so fucking stupid. Rather not be in tech than use IPv6. Honestly, it's not like, it's not even the tech that's the problem, right? So like IPv6, for better or worse, it's going to take a lot for it to need actually get deployed, right? But the problem isn't even so much an understanding of IPv6 anymore. It's the rollout and the infrastructure for it. I don't even, do I have IPv6 on anymore? I do. Okay. So IPv6 has been actually stable for me for a bit. In the past, I've had to disable IPv6 for my machines because stuff just wouldn't work, right? Like some random hop on the internet was broken and it just didn't work. IPv6, when the hell was the RFC for IPv6? Like I remember reading about like in like 2001. RFC 2460, obsoletes 1883 from 1990 fucking 5. And we still can't get it working reliably. And it's just, Right, exactly, intricate, and that's my point, right? Is there's so many of these things out there that are like this, and people just go apeshit for them for whatever reason. It's just absolutely insane, and you're just, like, I don't know if it's newbies that don't know any better or what, but like you try to explain it to them, and they just keep going on, and they insist they're right, and I think. I don't know, maybe it's a whole part of the problem of like developer and tech people arrogance, right? And I'm not trying to talk down to anybody, but you know, as you start building things, figuring stuff out, and putting stuff together, blah, 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 you develop a sense of arrogance. I did. I definitely had it for a long time. But like, stop. Please stop. It's just, yeah. How do I say your name? No Ava Rice? Is that right? Or is that close? I can code something while responding to AI bots talking about AI. Yeah, I don't, the thing is they don't. They just use the AI code, right? It's just, it's ridiculous. Majority of kitty scripters that think they are coding use AI to do their code, but if you test them against their actual coder, they lose hands down. Without their AI, they can't script. Yeah, exactly. That's my point. But they're still like, oh, you're going to get left behind and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Great. I'm left behind. Who cares? Sorry, I missed a bunch of chatter. I'm trying to catch up on. Your IPv6 has advantages by cloud providers. It's no use for simple users. Whatever. No, Ava Rice. Okay, sorry. I said that very strangely for whatever reason. I'm like, sure, fuck it, whatever. Like, I really, this is like the fourth time I've gone over this, and I don't care. Oh, it's not here. It's on Discourse. Like, okay, so this guy vibe coded a Fluxer plugin for Pidgin. And yes, I blocked Claude because I want a quick reason to know when it's here or whatever. Right? Okay, they haven't touched it in a month. Cool. They wrote this thing that does this. Right? So we can just start going through the code, and we're going to find, like, at the surface, it looks very pretty, right? Oh, look at them nice comments using M dashes instead of just a regular dash. Cool. Awesome. I've said this again and again and again. I don't know why we ever started this thing, but now it started this practice, I guess, of defining all these variables up here when they're only used in one place. Right? So like plugin ID. Oh, okay. It's used in two places. My bad. Or it says 7 for some reason. Actually, yeah, why the fuck does it say 7? Command registration. Plugin info. Oh, then it was over here. Okay, whatever. Right? It's used in two places. Okay, I guess, sure, whatever. But, like, just this code, just in general, this is not code, like... If you make changes to the code, the AI is most likely going to wipe them out. And if you ask the AI to change the code, it's going to restructure the entire code anyway, so it's all just shit. Actually, that's a great question. Let's look at this. Right? So I don't know what the difference was in their commits here. Let's... Showing username, discriminators, display name. Okay, cool. Let's look at the commit. I'm still on the first 3 lines because apparently the AI is not smart enough to know about get string member with default. If member name does not exist, it does not contain a scalar value, or contains null, then the default value is returned instead. If member name contains a non-string, non-null scalar value, then null is returned. So, this line should say JSON object get string member with default, comma, null. That's what this line should be. So the very first hunk of code is already wrong. And it's doing more than it should. And maybe the compiler will fix it and optimize it out. I don't know. Right? But that's just wrong. Right? That's just additional confusion. Plus it's using a ternary. But look, it's all aligned right to the equal sign. It's all pretty. Using Claude to write pipelines for you from time to time. It's on Friday on their heaviest and bestest model. I'll replace all three. I'm not gonna look. Yeah. When it happens eventually, you'll pop a bottle of champagne for the first company that goes down because this shit deleted their whole infrastructure and was like, whoopsie, you're right, I should not have deleted your whole... I mean, how many people have lost their machines already? Because AIs have deleted their file system. It's... Ugh. So, one of the reasons you use gstir compare 0 is because it's null safe. There's a null guard on this. This is not necessary. This is high quality AI code. We're on the third hunk of this diff, and I already have 2 big problems with it. Yep. Rest of this is fine. This is all just basic shit. Nothing major. Oh, look, we had to redo this, and again, we should be using get string member with default, but we're not using a ternary again. It's the same problem. You didn't just copy pasted the error, you AI pasted the error. And you know, how do you tell an AI to follow dry? I don't know. But this is going to replace programmers. I think the more pressing matter is, I don't know if it's that some of the apps I'm using have started using AI or not, but like, there's just bugs fucking everywhere now. Way worse than they used to be. And there's just like basic features that still just don't make sense at all, or that don't exist anymore, or don't exist at all in apps that should exist. Like case in point. So if you use Google Maps at all, I don't know, like I'm at a weird time right now, so we probably got a bunch of Europe and Asia and stuff right now. But like in the US, we have alleys, right? So like you've got street, and then the houses are here, and then there's an alley for you to access your garage, and it keeps your car off the street, right? Maybe, I don't know how prominent that is in other countries in the world or whatever. In the US, we're very car dependent, so it's a thing, right? Google Maps does not know what the fucking alley is. Like it knows it's there, but it won't route you to it, and you can't be like, I only park in my garage at my house. Why you keep directing me to the front of my house every time, I don't know. But recently, I've had Google Maps literally take me minutes out of the way for unknown reasons. Right, like it's not like it was claiming like there was a road closed or anything. It was just like, nope, we're gonna have you go this way to then turn around to get this way instead of just continuing straight and going a shorter distance to here. And you're just like, huh? Or like, why do we not have an option to be like, hey, you have my home address, you know where it is. Why are you insisting, like you have my work address, and you know I follow the same route more or less every trip. You really don't need to give me turn by turn to my front door, or you know, for a quarter of a mile before I leave my house. It's just mind-blowing. But yeah, all right, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hunks of this, and there's 3 major problems in it. But I mean, it's not problematic, but it's not code anybody would write. It's just, yep. It does take you some interesting places, sure. In rural Greece to appreciate it fully, okay. A friend of mine's house, it actually takes you to the street past her, and then to a parking lot to a business, rather than her front door on the other street. It's like, huh? Like, yeah. We just moved offices at work, and the GPS takes you kitty corner to it. Because, yep. Judging by how today businesses usually don't care about quality at all, about code quality as well. Sadly, AI will replace that. No, AI is not. Okay, here's what's going to happen. Businesses are going to get rid of workers and claim that they are going to replace them with AIs. Everything is going to degrade to such utter fucking garbage, application-wise, stability-wise, infrastructure-wise. But so many people are going to get out of practice as well during this downturn of lack of programming employment that it's going to take us decades to grow back up and get people to learn how to program again and actually be able to build these things because of this AI nonsense. But that's just my opinion. But like, so there's a meme that floats around. It's like, what problem is AI trying to solve? And the real answer is wages. AI is not out here to try to make your life easier as a developer or something. Your bosses are trying to replace you with AI. AI, quote unquote. But like we can, like, this is Claude. This is the top, one of the top, or Claude Code, whatever things. This is one of the top ones right now, right? And it just doesn't know how any of this works. We don't do this. We don't do separate defines for this. We make an enum. It's what you do, right? And this should be an enum where this is the first member and this is at the end, because then it just gets whatever that number is and you're done. And like, these comments don't really add a whole lot to it, but whatever. Right? I don't know this code base at all. I don't know anything on what this is doing, and I'm finding issues in that. But the thing that created this is going to replace me, even though I don't even have to understand its context to know that it's bad. Oh, that's curious. So is this leaking memory now? I'm going to guess it is. I'm going to have to read more of it to figure out if it actually is or not. But again, JSON node holds object. JSON node get object. I'm pretty sure if you call JSON node get object, no, object's a little different. This one should be okay this way. There's no like get default or get empty object or something. Not that I'm aware of. I'm not super well versed on glib gobject anyways, or JSON glib, whatever the hell it's called. Get Boolean member with default. That's a parameter that you can pass in for this. And yep. Like, this just is not good code. Like, full stop. Like, we talked about this last time too, and we'll talk about it again. I'm sure we'll find one here in a second. This shit. Don't do this. Do not do this. So number one, in the Pidgin code base and all the I Am Freedom code bases, we have a rule that says every single body has to be enclosed in braces, right? You can judge, you can argue that one till you're blue in the face. I don't care. In our code bases, you have to have braces for your bodies. It makes things easier. It's easier to understand. It's easier to read. Oh no, you have to type a little bit more. Boo fucking who. That means even single line bodies, right? But even then, in all of our code base, a single line body like this always goes on the next line. And generally speaking is indented. But putting it on the same line is just like a literal go fuck yourself. And this code base in particular is littered with these. You will not see this anywhere in our code base. You just won't. Even if you grab the Pidgin 2 code for every single if statement, you're never going to see a single command on the same line. Maybe not never, but you won't see it because we don't do it because that's dumb. And it's going to start confusing people. So then, next step, as I'm looking at this too, right? Okay. This wasn't the body. Okay, no, this wasn't the body for it. But they're defining variables just haphazardly throughout the function. Now, this wasn't a thing before C90. You couldn't do this before C90. Most people still don't do it because it makes the code harder to read and stuff like that. You know, it's a little bit more difficult because you have to define your variables at the top of the scope, stuff like that. But it's fine, right? You can read through that and then you just go through the logic, right? You're not like, oh, when did that get defined? Let me find specifically. And like you move code around and then it doesn't work because the definition wasn't at the top anymore, right? Like, so like, there's a whole bunch to it, right? But again, here's this whole string member thing again, right? This is just the same error again and again and again. It's just, and like, if this AI actually knew anything about how Pidgin works, it would know that we don't do anything for purple connection update progress. We just don't. There might be something, but there might still be code in lit purple. Update progress. Okay, all we do is we call the UI ops connect progress, right? That's all we do. That's all we do. So on the Pidgin side, okay, we get UI ops. There should be a setter under somewhere. Oh, whatever. Look, gtkcon.c. We return UI ops. I didn't see which one. Is it connect progress? You're not for your services lightening up the mood of a Twitch chat? Huh. Okay. Don't think we requested that, but sure. Connection.h. What was... Is that actually the update progress one? Like, we don't have a widget that does it. We might still have an implementation for it, but we don't have anything that does... Okay, it is connect progress. Right, okay, so... Connect progress. This is the Pidgin 2 code base. We get the buddy list. We call set connecting, and then we pulse connecting. We don't do anything with the steps. Like, there's nothing for it. I don't even think Finch does anything. Yeah, it doesn't even have it implemented, right? So, like, they went through and added this. This was that commit. Connection stability fixes, like they added stuff in here to do this, right? That's what all this is about. We don't do anything with it. It doesn't, the API is there because we have to keep the API stable. But it got removed eons ago. But the AI doesn't know anything about it. It just, Diddy's upset mother. You need to stop making assumptions about me in general. So, this entire commit, well, not the entire commit, but the whole thing it did in here does nothing. But because the developer and their AI helper doesn't know the code base at all, they don't know that. Right? Just, that's how it goes. Right? So for people to continue to say that this kind of shit is going to replace me, that's just ignorant. Full stop. But you can't stop them from changing their mind, right? It's like a mega person. You're never going to change their mind. They have to change their mind on their own. You cannot change their mind. Didn't use emojis this time. I'm sure. We're just going through the commits and looking what the AI bot did with them. Is open source screwed? No. I mean, open source has a new set of problems to deal with, but like a lot of open source is not doing anything with AI because AI makes things harder and worse for them, right? If you don't care about actively maintaining something for a long point of time, sure, use AI, do whatever you want. Just use AI if you want. I don't care, right? I'm not going to use AI. You're not going to change my mind on it because nobody's actually addressing the things I'm complaining about. So why would I ever change? Open source survived Hacktoberfest. Yes, this is true. Can you imagine? And they still do Hacktoberfest now, which is just insane. But yeah. Okay, let's add a bunch of docs. Dude, just like it's a fucking new line character. What? Right? This is the whole thing. Code maintainability doesn't matter for AI. But look, they put that that space after or between the if and the open parenthesis to increase your readability, but then removed all of it by putting the body to the if, but putting the single line body to the if on the same line. The problem here is everybody, when you typically see an if, you quickly read the condition, then you look for the body, which is the line underneath it, right? At least that's how I've been skimming code forever, and I know others do it too. Which is why once you get to the end of that, you tend to ignore the rest, right? I have a good story a long time ago, from a long time ago, where I had something like if foo bar, and I was debugging this for hours. I was really tired, but I was like, I'm gonna fix this and go to bed. And I finally sent it to somebody to have them look at it, and they found the problem immediately, right? As I hope you all did too. The problem was that bar was always being called. This should be bar, right? Bar was always being called. Why did that happen? Because the compiler basically did that, which is what it should have done. Because there's no body here, right? It just got killed by the semicolon. But the indent gives you a fake thing for it, right? But like, this is just as equally bad because it just, you expect to see something right after an if. It's just the way the code feels, right? But so that example is one of the reasons why this is a requirement in our code base now. Because, well, so if you do this, you still get the wrong behavior, right? But if you do this, you get the right behavior, right? But you have the break, it's there, it makes sense all the time, right? Like I said, you can still do this, that'll still be broken, and that's still valid C. It just, you know, it looks like this, and then the compiler does this to optimize it out. But that's much harder to do than the other variations. And it's much easier for everybody to read. You know, stuff like that, it's time to take a break for the day. Yeah. But yeah, this, like, just like this too, right? In our code base, this is not how we would stylize this. Now, this sucks for a number of reasons. But what we would do in our modern code base for this, and our modern coding style stuff, right? We would take this and say something like, I think that's a bool. So we'd have G boolean result equals false, result equals oh, those are flags? Ugh, okay. Well, we might change this. Well, yeah, we'd probably do, I don't not want to save this. We would probably do this, but then move this to another variable. Right, and then we would say, if not result, purple debug warning, fluxer, right? Which one of these would you rather look at and work on? Seriously. And by seriously, I mean yay, we're running a poll. No one's gonna vote. And sorry, YouTube, there's only one of you here. And I'm not gonna run a poll for one user. Really? No one wants to vote? Oh, no, okay, we got voters. Okay. Shit, it's 2:30. much longer does this poll got? Clicking down. Do, 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 do. I'm totally surprised by the results here. And by totally surprised, I was trying to be sarcastic. Probably not sarcastic enough. Didn't I do 2 minutes? God, this time feels like it's taking forever. So far we have one person that doesn't care. You don't necessarily need to out yourself, but if you feel comfortable answering, why don't you care what the code looks like? Or I guess a more appropriate question is, how long have you been developing? How long have you been writing code? And after that, the next question is, what's the longest time you've had to work on a single code base? As for the people that are answering A, what, like, why do multi-line ifs feel fine to you? Or why do you prefer them instead of having it just down to Boolean logic in the if that you can, start calling a function with a ton of stuff? How's it going, Robotic Head? Welcome, welcome. Those of you who don't know Robotic Head, he's another programming streamer here on Twitch. He works on an open source project management tool called Near Beach, which is written in Python with Django and Vue, and he's switching UI toolkits or something. I forget the details. But you should go give him a follow. Okay, so the poll's almost done here. Okay, so as expected, 2/3 think that B is easier to read and would prefer to look at B. That's totally not surprising to me at all. How do I dismiss this? Where? Okay. Oh, and thank you, Erotica, for the 42 months. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. I didn't realize that was a sub message. You're a never nester type of person. I try and keep the if indentation to a medium. Yeah. So the other thing is, this should be this way, right? You can K an army versus almond all fucking day. I don't care. Right? If I'm looking through a code base and I see this, I get annoyed. I get even more annoyed when I see that. Because then you're like, or it gets even worse if it's something like this. Because there's code bases that do that, and you're just like, dude, give me a fucking hint here. Right? Like, this is kind of okay. But, like, this is better. Right? Okay, if there's the open of the block, I can go right to the block. Right? It lets me skim the code way faster when the brace is right there. But whatever. What is the pipe trying to do in the if statement? It's a okay. So in C we have Boolean logic, right? This is a Boolean or not Boolean, a bitwise or. Sorry, wrong word. Right? So gspawn search path. And so the gspawn flags, it's a flag variable. Let's do it this way. So gspawn flags is a bit flags, right? So the parameters here are path or search path, standard out dev null. So you'll see there's one called search path, right? That has value of 4. Standard out to dev null has value of 8, and standard error to dev null has 16, right? These are bitwise, right? So no, I mean this wouldn't be a Boolean, right? So this, if we, like I said, or maybe you weren't here yet for this robotic head, but I would said we would have done this, and then we'd say gspawn flags. But like maybe this we would split across lines. But like, right, I didn't fully optimize this the way we would have it in our modern, you know, in our modern style. But, you know, it would look something like this. Right? Yeah, no worries. But like the point is, like, for me personally, when I'm reading code, I'm mostly looking at the function that's being called and the return value, right? I'm looking for assignments. I'm looking for stuff on like this part of the screen. When we start having to get all the way over here and I have to start caring about every exact argument, that becomes a problem, right? Whereas these get broken up into individual things, right? So, okay, so we created a variable named flags. We set it to this value. Cool, right? We don't need to do that inline, right? This just makes a big clump of annoyance, right? But like as I'm going through the code and be like, okay, variable initialization, whatever, go to the spawn, right? I'm starting to follow the flow of it and looking at the logic of it. Like getting down to the actual parameter values for me is a phase 2, step 2 kind of thing, right? And like you'll see me doing this in the Pidgin code where I'm jumping around real fast. And it's because I'm scanning this side of the screen looking for the hints of where I need to get to. Because these specifics don't matter until I absolutely need them. But as I'm just trying to navigate through the code and everything, they're just noise, absolute noise. But, you know, whatever works for you all, that's fine. Like, I'm not trying to convince you that this is the one true way or whatever. This is the way I do it. If you have a different way that works great for you, awesome, cool. Like, not trying to, like, to tell anybody what to do because I don't know your situation. I would not even attempt to think that you're wrong because I don't know your situation. Which is another reason when I get so annoyed when people are like, oh, you need to do this. Just... Yep. All right, let's look at another one of these great AI commits. Uh-huh. So this code doesn't know about gclear pointer. This is the old code that's getting deleted. Again, still doesn't know about gclear pointer. Clear session, so reconnect does a fresh identify. Do not call g-usleep or re-identify inline here. I don't know why you would ever use a usleep in a Pidgin plugin. Because you don't know what you're doing, sure. Error message, sure, whatever. So what gclear pointer does is, sorry, oh, I'm eating ginger candy, and this was really strong. What gclear pointer does is you pass in the pointer to what you want to clear, and then you pass in the function to do the clearing, right? So these two lines become these are the same. This one takes me nothing to read. This one I have to go, okay, they freed it, and then, okay, then they nulled it out, right? This one, gclear pointer, okay, cool. Yep, clears out the sign, not so much. Like my nose isn't running or anything, but yeah. But again, this is like gclear pointer has been around a long time, I think. I don't remember how long, but it's been a while. Of course, it's not here because it's at, oh, I'm in JSON object. That's a problem. Docs.gtk.org. Oh, maybe the AI would have told me if I asked it. Look at me, using my memory to remember URLs. God, such a grandpa, such a boomer. All right, gclear pointer. Oh, since 2.34. When did glib 2.34 come out? This is probably the easiest way to do it. I could look at the git commit, but I don't want to dig through it. Lib, what did I say, 2.34? 2.34, 2012. This function was added 14 years ago. And AI doesn't know how to use a 14-year-old function. But it's going to replace me. Right? Like, this is... Like, I swear, I've got to do, like, a YouTube series going through these commits and these plugins and stuff. And, like, I don't want to do it to this person. I'm already doing more than I probably should. Because, like, people shouldn't go after them. They wanted to use the tool, that's fine. But, like, this is just not good code. And again, we've got this single... Okay. Okay. I get it. It's not... Yeah. So this is going to look really weird to somebody who doesn't know C, and I understand that, right? So let me explain what this does. So modern versions of the C spec, I think, but at least the compilers, will warn you when you have passed a parameter, when you have a parameter in a function that's not used, right? So you see error here is used right here, and data got set, or FD got set to the value of data, and then FD was used, but SSL was not used. This is a stupid trick to tell the compiler, to trick the compiler into saying that you use the parameter. Okay? So you want to get rid of that warning because, so like the author of this plugin, this is a callback function, which has to have a signature so we can call it with the correct parameters. We don't know whether or not you need the SSL parameter, so we have to provide it, right? So when they implement it, they have to have the same function signature because that's just the way functions work in programming languages, right? I mean, you can have different signatures in C++ and some other languages. Python has default parameters, shit like that, whatever, right? But in this case in particular, think of this as like this parameter, you know, the pointer to the object, whatever, right? The default variable, that kind of thing. That's what this is here. And like, you don't always need this pointer, right? So like, or the self pointer in Python or whatever, right? Or self reference. You don't need it all the time, right? That's what this is, right? So this void is the way to get around this. That's pretty portable. However, there is GNU unused, which may or may not show up here. Yeah, it's not going to show up here. Like anybody who's watched the stream for any amount of time has seen me use this a lot. G macros. So there's another way to do this that's a little less portable, but this function should do it for both of them. So if the compiler has an attribute named underscore or dunder unused, then GNU unused gets defined to dunder attribute dunder underscore unused. Cool. Otherwise, it just makes it do nothing. There is some way, which I guess they didn't put in here, to make it work with CMake, or there might be more code for this somewhere. Or not CMake, CLang. But yeah, so like this is the way we end up doing it now. Auto pointer cleanup function, don't care about that. But yeah, so anyway, that's what that's doing, right? But again, so I forgot to get what I came here for. Okay, there's no since tag, which means it was in glib 2.0. Do you know when glib 2.0 was released? Anybody want to take a guess? It's a lot more than 14 years ago. Glib 2.0.0.tar.bz2, March 8th, 2002, 24 years ago. That macro has been around for 24 years. And the LLMs don't know how to use it, even though it is the recommended way to do it. Right? But again, please, uninformed people, tell me how I'm going to, you know, be put out of a job because I don't use AI. Please. Like, you don't It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Oh, we already looked at this one. Auto relogin on session expiry, website close 4004, 4006. I'm in the progress of doing this with Spasm, which is why there's a big blank. Well, the big blank above us because I accidentally DOSed myself earlier. But like just every single one of these, there's multiple issues with it, right? And this is why people are like, well, it's good for code review. I'm gonna disagree, right? Maybe it's good for you with your code review, but I just, yeah. And generally, we'd use a constant for these, right? So like up here, or maybe no, here in the commit message, for website closed 4004. So a gateway closed with code 4004, auth failed, or 4006 session invalidated. You know what? Having a constant that says WebSocket closed, auth failed, WebSocket closed, session invalidated, that has these values is way more useful. This isn't too bad. This is, it's not great, but this isn't too bad. At least these single line bodies or single statement bodies have braces around them. I'm very surprised that's the case. So we're going over code that was written by, that was vibe coded to create a Pidgin plugin for Fluxer, which is supposed to be API compatible with Discord. And like, I'm trying to point out to people again and again why AI just does not work for me, but they don't believe me because they're stupid or something. I don't know. They're unable to accept that I've actually looked at the problem because to them it's all magic. That's the best I can figure. Yeah. And like some of these complaints are nits, but there is a function for this. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But what this does... Wait, what? Hold on. What this is doing is it's taking, I guess, a string? Maybe? It's taking the byte value of a string and pushing it into a 16-bit integer as 2 bytes. This is weird stuff that people get into problems with when they do this stuff in C. And it's just, don't. Like, there's no reason why you couldn't just A to I this, really. Your job consists of copy-pasting MVC controllers and renaming them. AI is scary. Yeah, I guess. It's just, ugh. And again, we talked about this earlier. Like, this is a JSON object. This just, oh, what the fuck? This is even different than before. So it's checking if the JSON object has a last member ID. If it does, and it's not null. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Then get the member again, and this time with this, right? Okay, so again, just to show how fucking absurd all of this is. I don't know how I keep losing my... Oh, because I keep closing the thing. Oh, it's too far. Ah! Right, okay. So, if I was going to rewrite this, if I personally was going to rewrite this, const char star LMID equals null, because so... Okay. Also, you don't use gcar anywhere. It never did anything. It was a bad idea. You shouldn't be doing it. That's been the way for a long time. Then we're gonna say LMID equals JSON object get string member with default ch last message ID null. If LMID is not equal to null. G hash table insert FD channel last message G stir dupe CHID G stir dupe LMID. Which one would you rather write and see and have to deal with? Or which one's less busy? and is easier to read. These do exactly the same thing. And like, how long did it take me to write it? No, don't do it. So the like, I mean, yeah, technically you could do this, but I wouldn't. Because what happens is you start having to define more and more variables, then the order of your initialization depends on where the parameters are needed. And that just makes things even harder to read and understand, right? So when you define that, when I define my variables, I just define them and give them a default value. Then I do all assignment afterwards so that the order of the assignment can go in whatever order. And I have a weird grouping I use for these to make it easier and to make it make sense. Generally speaking, it's whatever the program's namespace I'm using, those go first, then followed by the sublibraries in weird ways. But then those variable names themselves, or not the variable names, the types themselves are alphabetized. So it's easy for me to find and replace something rather than having to fucking search for it. Because there's a whole bunch of stuff like, what were we just working on? A bunch of stuff in game, but I don't know. Conf manager, Seagull, backend.c, and oh, okay, we don't have that here, but okay, sure, whatever. Insert properties, right? Let's. Okay, these aren't great examples. I'm realizing. What the hell was this? Okay, yeah, this one's not so bad, right? So, purple account, purple tags, glist model, conscar star, gboolean, guint, right? So, purple is a library we're in. glist model is one of our dependent libraries, and these are like the basic / intrinsic types from glib and C, right? But okay, so the first thing we have to do is we want to get the conversation ID. Conversation is passed as a parameter. We got that here. If we put this up here, right, that then means that account has to be declared after this, because then we would initialize account to get account off of the conversation, right? And then all of a sudden you've got a whole bunch of logic and flow control stuff up in your variable declaration, and that's just not a good place to be in. And like, sure, you could also do, you know, conscar star this, purple account that, but then again, if you have to reorder things because whatever, now maybe your variable is declared in a wrong place or weird or whatever. And it's just, it's all just kind of garbage here. We'll do this a little bit different to give you a better example. But so like the options here, right? So this is the way I typically implement this stuff. Then we can do full-blown initializations everywhere, right? So we're just going to put this in, then we'll clean it up, right? So like right now, if we were to put this in and let the compiler go, that's not going to work, right? We now have a bug in our initialization section, which sucks, right? But to fix that, we have to do this. We can't do this. We have to do this, right? Oh, sorry, I've got an extra conversation. I was wondering why that line was long, right? We have to do it this way. Because we've put all this logic up here into the initialization section, we've now made the list of variables being initialized and declared confusing and hard to read and kind of a spaghetti mess, right? Because of that. And like, that's not a great place to be, right? We will sometimes set parameters up here, but this is usually based on the parameters that come into the function. So something like, there should be, oh no, there won't be a callback here. Or someone's got like data, like a callback function will have this stuff all the time. Okay, so, oh, we didn't even do it that way. Oh, because we don't care about the data parameter. But okay, so sometimes like this, where we have a parameter that comes in, here it's purple backend. We'll do this initialization and plop it into a variable, but it's already came as a parameter. That's a different section, right? So like it's not going to affect the order of this at all because it was actually defined up here. But this one got broken up because otherwise the line fucking wraps and is a big giant pain in the ass because the type name's really long, right? So they're all little things like this. It's just they're meant to make the code easier to read and to keep people out of trouble. Is really what it comes down to. All the functions have to no. Like the functions don't have to return a value. If the return type is void, that means it doesn't return a value, right? So I don't know why this became teach the C programming language, but sure. But okay, so static pango adder list, that returns a pango adder list. The static is the scoping to the file. It doesn't mean that the value is static. It means that this function is not declared outside of the source file. But so if we go to look at public API, this is public API, there's no static on it. So purple conversation member set show presence returns void. There's no return, right? There's no return statement in this function because it doesn't have one. It doesn't have a return value. Whereas get show presence returns a gboolean and has a return in it. No, we're not redefining arguments. There's no redefine. You can't redefine an argument. That's a compiler error. Now, so again, in C, you don't have automatic like type promotion or demotion, right? So like if you have something that's a subclass or something, you have to cast it to get it to the right type, right? So what ends up happening in that wasn't the function. Oh, it had to be in the function. No. Where the hell is this function? Oh, I think I closed it. Right, okay, so the parameter that came in is purple backend, right? Of type purple contact manager backend. This is a base type class, a base class, right? Purple contact manager seagull backend is a subclass of purple contact manager backend. However, in C, we don't have the syntactic sugar or even implementation of any style of OOP. So G object, what it does is it does all of this via composition. I can explain it in a little bit more detail if you guys want. But what it does is you make it work because you understand how the memory model and stuff like that works, right? So to take this purple backend, which is, this is, again, we were talking before about functions in C, you don't have overloads. You have to, everything has to be a known type for you to be able to call it right? So the function here, or so there's more to this, but what this is a implementation of a virtual function, which is a whole nother story. If you don't know what it is, we're not going to get into all that tonight. But the virtual function knows that it has to take the base type, right? Well, the implementation needs to get to their subclass to actually do anything, right? So like in Java, you get the this pointer. In C++, you get the this pointer. In Python, you get the self pointer, etc., right? I don't know what you're trying to say by that, Martabo. But anyways, so to get to the subclass of it, you have to cast it. That's what this macro does. There's a bunch of checks and stuff behind in this macro, but so we're taking purple backend and we're casting it to a purple contact manager seagull backend and storing it in the backend variable. There's no redefinition. There's no redeclaring. These are two different declarations, right? We have a declaration of a variable named backend of type purple contact manager seagull backend. And then we have a parameter named purple backend, which is declared as type purple contact manager backend. So these are two big different things. I have the same voice. Okay. That's the first time I've ever heard that, but sure. But yeah, so that's that part. But if we're going to go over composition stuff real quick, which we can, and how you do OOP, actually, we'll just use the Pidgin 2 code base because it's way easier. I don't have to type anything. So Purple 2 has these weird funky things called blist nodes, and you'll notice that we have an enum for types, and that enum has group, contact, buddy, chat, and other as options. There's a bunch of macros here for is whatever type, and it calls the get type function on it, and then checks if it equals the thing, and that gives you your condition, your Boolean conditional. Now, if we actually want to look at how these things are implemented, we're going to first find Purple blist node. Purple blist node is just a regular structure. It's got a blist node type, and then it's got pointers of its own type for the previous, the next, its parent, and a child. Right, and then it also has a ghash table for settings, a void star pointer for UI data, and then flags for this. The flags are whatever, not a big deal. Right, so this is a anerary tree data structure in C. Right, this is how you build it. Right, if you wanted to build a linked list, a doubly linked list, you would get rid of these two parameters. If you wanted to build a simple tree, you would get rid of these two parameters. Maybe you'd have child 1, child 2. If you're doing a binary tree or something, right? But because you have parent, child, next, and previous, so these are the, you know, the older sibling, the younger sibling, the parent, and then the children, right? And the first child, right? And then the first child would be another node type, which would have all the same things. So like the first child's previous pointer is null, but if they have a younger sibling, its next pointer would point to it, right? Whereas the last child's next pointer will always be null, but the previous should be another one if they're more than if they're not a single child, right? And if this is the oldest parent, parent will be null, right? So the trick that makes all this work in C, and actually might be easier if we look at chat, right? So thing to note is these are pointers, right? Purple blist node star parent, purple blist node star next, purple blist node star previous, star child. That star means it's a pointer, right? When we look at the subclasses, right? Purple blist node, no star node, right? What ends up happening is this struct now has this entire struct in it, right? Whereas when it was a pointer before, it's just a pointer, so it's whatever the size of a pointer is, right? So on a 64-bit machine, a pointer is 8 bytes. This structure is more than 8 bytes normally, right? Because this is going to be 4 bytes for the int, 8 bytes for the pointer, 8 bytes for the pointer, 8 bytes for the pointer, 8 bytes for the pointer. We're now at 36 bytes, plus another pointer, 40 bytes, another pointer, 44 bytes, and another 32-bit int, 48 bytes, right? So this chat, this one right here, this is 48 bytes, right? Then we add another pointer on for 8 bytes. So what did I say? 40, whatever the hell we're at. I don't know. I lost track of the count, right? Another plus 8, another plus 8, another plus 8. Since we have all this data here and it's at the start of the object, we can cast a base type, or we can take this variable and we can cast it into the base type, and then everything just magically aligns. And then since it's in that type, the compiler then knows how everything maps. Likewise, we don't have anything that's multiple dependency or multiple subclasses in Pidgin 2, but it's the same deal, right? This is how Purple Buddy has a Purple blist node as a first parameter, and the same reason why Purple Contact has the first, not parameter, the first member of a node that's not a pointer, is so that all of these get that entire parent in its data structure, right? This is how this works under the hood in all your object-oriented programming languages. It's the same concepts, just it's not built into the C language. So if you want to use it, you have to build it yourself or you use a library that does it. These bytes could be a big deal if you have a big contact. No. You're jumping to conclusions you don't need to jump to. In Plan 9C and Golang, you do inheritance the same way. Yeah, exactly, right? So like if you've done Golang and you've done the I mean, you don't really call it inheritance, you call it composition, because you're composing an object on top of other things. Although in Go, a lot of the time, if you want to do subclasses like that, sure, but otherwise they want to push you towards interfaces for everything, which is a different story, different implementation. But this is an easy way of doing polymorphism in C by hand. Right, so like if we were actually going to do this, actually I can just show you. Where's the rest of this? There's a... there's some... Yeah, so, right, so purple group, you pass in an object, and it just cast it, right? That's what the parentheses mean with the type. It cast it, whatever you gave it, to a purple group pointer, right? The same deal with purple blist node. It's the same deal, right? So you can pass in an instance of a group, a chat, a buddy, etc. And since it'll cast it to a purple blist node, which has the start here, right? It just starts at this byte. So at offset 0, your first 4 bytes are the type, right? Where if you take that same pointer and you cast it to a purple buddy, all that stuff is true. But then if you want to request the name, it's the plus 48 or whatever it says. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 56 bytes, right? So at offset 56, you have an 8-byte pointer, which is the name, right? But then again, you can cast this whole thing back and you can still get to the parent ones, because all you're doing is you're just saying, okay, at this address is this part. And then, you know, you're adding more definition to it when you cast it to a bigger instance. It gets a little weird when you want to, so like you can still reference this stuff out of here. It gets a little weird. It's much easier if you cast it. I think internally we do some of this stuff and it gets a little weird. It's probably easiest to find it this way. I know there used to be something in here for this. Okay, or not. Oh, wait, I think we just had one. Yeah, so purple blist node set int. They're taking the buddy, but to get to the, like, instead of casting, so what should have happened here is instead of this, you could have purple blist node star node equals purple blist node buddy, and then said, and then just pass and said purple blist node set int node. Actually, you can just do it this way even. These lines are the same, right? So what's happening here is effectively the same thing here, right? You're taking this member and then you're grabbing the address of it, right? To turn it into a pointer. Because internally to the buddy structure, this is a full copy of the struct. It's not a pointer, but you need a pointer, so you take the address of it. But this macro does the same thing and is a little bit easier to read because it's a typecast macro and you don't have to know this magic. No, it's not a generic. Like generics aren't really a thing in C. Like we have a void star and that's the closest you're going to get to a generic. You know what everything is, a blist node. Yeah, so like, again, like I said, this is all memory management stuff, right? Okay, let's break it down like this. All right, so let me just get the struct. And don't do this stuff. This is... Putting comments after struct members or whatever is just, and enums is, ugh, don't do it. It's just such a waste of time. If you need to document it the right way. Don't be dumb. Okay. And then we don't want to grab buddy because there's just too much stuff to go through. I should probably just write code to actually do this, but this is fine. Right, okay, so if I say, purple chat, star chat equals gnu0 purple chat, comma 1, what we will see is, if we do a printf, we're just going to pseudocode this. Like, we can put something more together if we want. The problem is, I don't want to add all the variables and stuff to make this work right. But if we want to say %u and size of chat, if we do the math, right, we said this is 56, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 52, 56, right? So this will output 56. Oh, sorry. 56, 64, 72, 80. That'll output 80, right? If we say purple blist node, we should have done it this way first, but whatever, we'll come back to it in a second. Star node equals gnu 0, purple blist node 1, right? So say we do this first, and we do printf %u/n size of node, we get 56, right? Does that make sense? We just got the size of the structs. Does anybody have any questions how we got the size of the structs? Remember, this is not a pointer, so it is a full copy. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions? Why are you dereferencing node? Oh, yeah, sorry, you're right. These should be this. My bad. Because size of node on my machine is going to say 8. We need to dereference it so we can, because the size of a pointer should always be the same on the same machine. Right, so we have to dereference it to actually get the size of it, because we created a pointer, we allocated memory, it's on the heap, so we have to use the star to dereference it for the size of, because otherwise we're going to get the size of the pointer, not the size of the structure, right? So what happens is, now, say I want to say printf %s, or alias %s, and I pass in chat dash, yeah, we should have done it this way, but it's okay. And we're going to say chat dash alias, or arrow alias, right? That's fine, right? We didn't set an alias, so right now this just returns null, right? Nothing to it, right? But now let's have a little bit more fun. We're going to say purple blist node star node 2 equals chat. That works. There's no problem. That's a-okay. It's fine. It might get a little weird. Actually, yeah, it'll get weird because they're different types, right? So we're going to say purple blist node, which does the cast. Again, this is just doing purple blist node star chat, but specifically this. I think that is what we're doing in the thing, isn't it? I think so. Let me verify. No, we don't. Yeah, no, hold on. We don't have to do that. I'm overthinking this. If you just do this, that works, right? That's fine. It's not a big deal. The compiler doesn't care. Everything's happy. Because the start of a chat is a blist node, right? Everything's fine. Everything's happy. You're cool. So then you can say printf alias %s. You can't do this via node 2 because that doesn't exist, right? Compiler error. Alias is not a member of node, right? Cool. Right? But you can say, I should really have new lines on these. But you can say alias %s/n purple chat node alias. That's fine. Because that's actually doing, again, purple chat star. It's just a normal ass typecast. You've got to put the extra parens here though, because otherwise it's going to resolve it wrong. And that's the same thing, right? So we're implementing polymorphism here via subclasses, right? one shape, many forms, right? That's what polymorph, right? Polymorphism definition. Okay, I thought it was more than just many forms. In which an organism species can have many different forms. Okay, well, I thought it was one shape, many forms, but that doesn't make sense anyways. Right, so like, we've got a node. We can turn it back into a chat. We can get its alias and all that. This all works. This is all just normal C. This is just, you know, understanding the memory model of C and structures, and by putting an entire copy of a BList node in the top, this is how this all works. This is how Python objects work. I'm pretty sure it's how Java objects work under the hood too. It gets weird with languages that are self-hosting, because at that point, it's magic, I guess. I don't know. I've never written a self-hosted language, so I don't know. But like in all interpreted languages, this is roughly how it works. Right now, maybe it's different for like PyPy or something. PyPy, not PyPI. Right, but that's polymorphism, how it works, right? When you declare something as a subclass in Python or whatever, this is just all the magic that happens under the hood. That's it. That's how it goes. That makes sense? Any questions? Quandaries? Quips? Flames? But again, the key point, just to drive it home one more time, is the subclasses have an entire instance or an entire copy of the parent data structures in themselves. And this is how GObject and GTK and everything works under the hood. So like all the time you'll see us do this, right? So Pidgin message.c. The first parameter, GTK box, parent. Right? Pidgin message is a GTK widget whose parent is a GTK box, and then it contains a pointer to the message and show formatting. If we look at purple message, which is the actual like data structure for it, if you're thinking MVC, the parent is a GObject, right? So purple message is a GObject. Its subclass is GObject, and then it adds all these additional properties to it. That's it, nothing to it. Look at purple conversation. GObject is the parent, and we add a whole shit ton of properties to it because that's a big object, right? There aren't any we don't have anything that's like super. Purple notification. So this gets a little bit crazier, but it'll make sense. Bear with me here. One of the problems with this setup is everybody has full struct access. They can access any of the members of the struct whenever. This is, if you're talking C++, Java, .NET, C#, whatever, this is the public access specifier, right? Python, everything's public as well. So, you know, whatever, right? This is public, right? For all reasons that you shouldn't use public, you shouldn't use public in these either, right? So, so there's a workaround for this where you can create a private class that does all of this. So if we look at purple notification.h, this gets a little bit different. So we say that we declare a derivable type, but we want to keep everything private so that people can't. Oh, Golang, they're all public too. Good point. We want to create a derivable type, but we don't want people to change our struct members out from underneath us, right? That's problematic for a number of reasons, and it's the same reason why you don't make stuff public in any of these other languages, right? So what you end up doing is, you know, in the other ones, we had a struct that declared the name, and it had the first parameter was the parent, right? The full copy of the parent. The way we do this is the way GObject does it is a little goofy, but the way you would previously used to do this, they do it a little different now. But you create a separate private struct and your public, so that your public struct doesn't change size. Because if your public struct changes size, you break what we call application binary interface. And what that means is plugins compiled with or code that was compiled against your code before the size changed no longer work after when you try to run it against code where the size was changed. You broke ABI, right? The binary interface where the executables or where the code was compiled no longer works, right? It probably, in all intents and purposes, it probably just crashes. So getting back to our example here, let's say struct purple private, or we'll say purple spy, sure, no, whatever. Incognito, sure, right? This is just going to say purple blist node, node, and then it'll have something like purple, purple incognito star prive. Or, right? And then in the C file, right? So this is all in the, this is in the header files. Right, so the header files are visible to whoever includes them, right? In the source file, we can then say typedef struct, I don't know, car star password. Actually, no, we can just do it this way. Yeah, I'm doing this wrong. I haven't done this in a long time. Yeah, in the header file, we would have typedef underscore purple incognito private, purple incognito private, right? So this is an incomplete type. We've declared a type of this, but this isn't known right now. But as long as you're not trying to access this, the compiler doesn't care, to let it fly, right? So then over here, we define this as purple incognito private, right? And now in the source file, we can use this all we want, but nobody externally can use it. So now we just made the entire type private, but we maintained ABI because we still have a copy of the parent at the start, but all our private data is hidden behind this private pointer that to everybody else effectively looks like this, right? But we declare the type on it so that we can easily access it inside of the C file, inside of the C code. Now, like I said, the GObject stuff does this a little bit differently. There's a hidden built-in pointer or something. I forget exactly how it works. Is it macros? Oh, did I go to the C? No, I'm in the H file. Define add private type. It's in G type. So they have a macro to make a bunch of this and help you avoid a bunch of boilerplate stuff. Where the hell? Okay, so G add private type name, blah, 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 blah. This just adds. Oh, G type add instance private. Yeah, I don't know what this actually does, but let's see. Or actually, where is struct G? It's probably hidden at this point, but or maybe not. It might be public because it's struck public. It's stuck as public to not break ABI. Type instance has a type and an instance type, and maybe it's hidden in some other bullshit. I don't know, whatever. But yeah. Is that the command? Nope. Colors? You think I would remember what this damn command is? This is just a custom thing. A while ago, we used to do sub goals to change my terminal colors. We got to some pretty wretched stuff. And yeah, what the hell is this bot? Phantom bot. There we go. Like, how do I get to this damn thing? Oh, good. I'm logged in yet. Oh, there's an update here. Lovely, great. Custom search color terminal colors. There you go. Okay. Or let's add theme too. There we go. Now I've got 2 extra attempts at remembering it. But yeah, so that's access specifiers with composition for polymorphism in C. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. You don't need to cast this. See, this is the whole problem with the initialization, doing assignments and logic in your initialization. Right? So here it's using channel ID that I got from key that it's passing into initializer for it just a single line if followed by just like anybody who's currently in school, would your professor, your teacher, your whoever accept this code? Or would they be like, this is, no, you need to do this, 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 and this? Because this is just absurd. Absolutely absurd. And just, ugh. Right, and this is this stuff again and again and again and again. And just let's look how big history fetch data is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm assuming it's defined up here somewhere. Or I guess it was already defined. Or maybe it's in a header file somewhere. The reason I want to know... What the fuck? Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 parameters. Assigning, 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 assigning. GNU0 runs memset across the entire size of the structure and sets it to 0. Sets every byte in it to 0. Every byte in it to 0. Specifically bit if you want to be a dick about it, but whatever. You don't need to use GNU0 when you assign all the parameters. You typically do this when you are assigning some number of the parameters and you don't know which ones you are setting because of different conditional stuff like that, right? That, like, it doesn't hurt to do this, but the code technically is doing extra data or extra work that it doesn't need to do because you're doing all this. Now, there's been times on the stream where I was not using GNU0 and then I added a field and forgot to initialize it and then had all sorts of weird fucking crashes. Teachers don't teach. See, they do for like hardware, for computer architects and more low-level class systems engineerings, but yeah, not so much anymore. But regardless, like a Python teacher, no, Python's a bad example. A JavaScript teacher, well, I don't know, JavaScript's fucking no holds barred, kind of free for all, but this is just gross in general. The entire layout of the code, right? But again, right, like GNU 0, GNU, it's been understood how those work for a very long time. And the AI's got it wrong. When you see at university to some hardcore math using it, yeah, it happens. So as a maintainer, you are a sea of battling bad code, inconsistent standard formats, and possibly ill-intentioned additions and subtractions. Yeah, pretty much. No, rough check. And then people continue to insist that they know how to do all these things better than I do, and that I'm doing them wrong. And that this is going to replace me somehow. Somehow. It's just, it's... I have to check the code, but I think we have a helper for that. I think it's an util. I hate Doxygen. I don't know how people like it, but whatever. It is not for me. Okay, yeah, purple key value pairs here. I thought there's a new function where you give it the key and the value. Oh, maybe we added those after the fact. Or in purple 3, I mean. We really just, that's it? Okay, well, okay. I was going to make a comment about this, but I guess we don't have the code that changes it. But like, again, GNU 0, you don't need to do it. There's only 2 values in there. You're assigning both of them. But this really should have a function for purple key value pair new. And then you pass in 2 strings, and there should be a function that does this that makes that way easier. But who's gonna know when no one understands how the code works, because the AI just does it all, right? Like, we're not gonna go change it in purple 2. We could, but there's no reason to. Right? And just every single one of these ones, like, we have yet to get to one where it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I wouldn't have any changes to that. But like, look how long this fucking thing is to read too. It's just, oh my god. I'm like, I'm not even reading any of this stuff because I don't care. What's the 1 colon about? DM's already history fetched? Okay, whatever. G cars everywhere. This is why ifs always have bodies, because this is all part of the if. And again, they're packing an int. Like I said, I'm pretty sure there's something in glib for this. I should have just loaded this a long time ago. Come on. This is so much better than dev help. Uh-huh. So much better. Let's scan your entire disk every time we start up. And then make multiple copies of the books that we find, because we're checking so much shit. I don't want I just want gpack. Gint shorts. Maybe I'm thinking of some Pidgin function or something. I could have sworn there was something for this. I can't recall the name, and trying to find these is always hard. So whatever. I was like, maybe the search will help, but again, the same damn problem. It's string member with default. Right? It's the same shit again and again. Maybe it'll get better. Who knows? Also, I didn't mention this before. I mentioned before about gstir compare 0 supporting nulls. That's what the 0 in it means. Right? gstir compare 0. Compare stir 1 stir 2 like stir compare. Handles null gracefully by sorting it before non-null strings. Comparing two null pointers, return 0. Right. And previously we saw a call to this with a check to make sure, or with a null guard around it, guarding to make sure null didn't go into it. But that function intentionally supports null. That's what the 0 means. Like, what fucking tab were we on? Right. And then we got this bullshit again. Or declare variables and assign them in whatever. Single line ifs. Just yep. Also, this cast is unnecessary. And in fact, you don't even need the other variable. Yeah. Ghash table lookup. These take oh, it takes a gconst pointer. Okay. But, like, that's still fine. As a parameter or constant, you don't have to pass a const into it. So, like, you can just pass v here, k here, and you don't even need these two lines. And then here, it'd be v again. Actually, I would recommend changing these to UID and key and CHID, and then just use them that way. Get rid of these lines, and then you're good, right? And then change these ones to the right names, and you're done, right? Extra code that's not necessary, and yeah, right. Again, there's that. Oh, I keep forgetting to mention this too. So stir compare is weird. Stir compare 0 and everything, right? Because it'll return a negative number if the first parameter should sort first, 0 if they're equal, or greater than 0 if the second one should sort first. Most of the time, you're not checking for comparison. You're not checking for sort order. You're checking for whether or not they are the same string. So what you end up doing is you have to say if it equals 0, or sometimes you'll see if not gstir compare or stir compare or gstir compare 0 as ways to check for equality. Well, 18,000 fucking years ago, we went, this is dumb. People keep fucking it up. So we wrote, we made purple stir equal in Pidgin 2.6, which is not as long ago as I thought it was, but that's still a long fucking time. 2.6.0 was 2009. So nearly 17 years ago, we wrote a helper that's easier to understand, right? So you just say purple stir equal, voila, right? Because again, sometimes people do equals 0. Sometimes they do a not at the start of it. Too many different ways to do it. Use a simple, easy to understand standard way to do it. Purple stir equal. It's fine, right? So this line would become right. Oh no, it's one character more. But one of them makes a lot more sense than the other one. The first one requires a ton more knowledge. The second one, you can be a non-C coder and get a rough idea of what it's doing. But the LLM keeps popping out the shitty one. Right? But yeah, this is the future. This is making code obsolete. I'm going to be left behind. Great. I didn't want to get on the short bus anyways. I just realized that's a, it's a bad local joke. What do you call those? I totally can't think of the word. When something's specific to a community or group or something. It's not nomenclature, something along those terms. But anyways, the short bus is where kids go to their special education for, you know, ones that are different. Let's go with that. And no, everybody has their own problems, whatever. Oh, fuck, are you kidding me? So, number one, these comments are horrible. Just put them before the function or something. Putting them afterwards and then aligning them just creates more work. The LLM will maybe do the work for you, but just don't. It's just dumb. It just gets in the way. It's a pain in the ass. But more precisely, why the fuck are they aligning the variable names based on the name and, you know, like adding white space for non-pointers where the pointer would go? They're like encoding like some standard of how to declare the variables based on their type. Now, to be fair, this is better than what some people do. Because some people will do shit like... I can't even do it by default. Right? And, you know, there's nothing intrinsically different between this line and this line. Or even, for all intents and purposes, those are all exactly the same thing. What happens is, when you have... sorry. I'm fucking this up. When you have this, what's DM title? Is it a pointer or isn't it? Likewise, if we have type def, g car star stirring, and whatever, g string, sure, right? Are these variables, are these lines equivalent? We'll even make it look closer. So Mango already knows the answer. So the thing is, the thing that people don't understand, and it's understandable, it's a weird quirk of the language and it's fine, but the star isn't tied to the type. It's tied to the variable. So while these lines are all the same, in this one, DM username is a pointer because it's tied to the variable name. DM title doesn't have a star, so it's not a pointer. Right? So this is an array of cars, or chars, if you want to be a dick about it. This is a single char. And this one, because we created a new type that makes it always a pointer, now the type is always a pointer. We've made a pointer type. Both of these are pointers. Now, as Mango has said, this is one of the reasons why many code bases, and we've started adopting this too in Pidgin and all our other shit, we only declare a single variable on each line. Right? Because there are times when people intend to do this, but there are also times when people intend to do this. And sometimes they will do that regardless, and it sucks and it's a pain in the ass. And again, it requires you to pay more attention to the code. Right? You write shitty code and it costs you more time over the long run. When LLMs write shitty code, you get lots of shitty code really fast that nobody knows how it works because nobody understood it. Now, maybe you've got, a super senior experienced developer doing this stuff, but they should be fixing all this stuff and not putting it in the code base. In my experience, from what I have seen, that does not happen. Just doesn't happen. Right? But again, so putting the star on the variable, cool. Aligning so that there's nice columns, waste of fucking time. Anybody who's experienced at a programming language is going to be able to flip through this as a zigzag anyways. Because you just get good at it and it's fine. Not a whole lot to complain about here, but again, multi-line line spanning body without, or as a single line body in a conditional. That's not great. Right? And again, these are mostly nitpicks, but this is stuff you have to worry about as you're maintaining the code base over a long time, right? The longer it takes you to refamiliarize yourself with the code, the longer it's going to take you to make changes. The longer it's going to take you to understand and find bugs, right? And that's where all this comes from. Fuck, what the hell is this? Just... Okay, so this block purple message. Let's understand how flags variables work, right? Let's define it to the one we're always going to use. Sure, right? AI Grim. If from self flags pipe equals purple message send, else flags pipe equals purple message receive. Which one would you rather look at and debug? Some editors do the alignment and more bothered about the pointer asterisk being one character behind. Yeah. So we're pretty anti-ternary operators. We were still allowing the simple case like this, but like I would never allow this with a bitwise or after it. That's too much. It's too complicated. Too much shit going on, right? Everybody can read this, right? They might have problems with pipe equals, but that's a simple thing to, maybe it's not simple to look up because it's two simple characters, right? That's not nested ternaries. That's not a nested ternary. That's a single ternary with a bitwise or after it, which is a whole different layer of bullshit. Right? That's what the pipe is. So again, AI written code technically works, technically functional, unmaintainable. This is how I would write it to make it maintainable. And yeah, right? That's awesome. Stretchy cat, nice. But yeah, like this, just yet another example of this. Nothing weird. Oh, they're using go-tos. I understand the concepts. I've never been in a case where a go-to done actually made sense for me. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Clear a variable to set an error message, exit. Cool. From the guy who coined the term one-liner, yeah. Just like Python comprehensions. They're fine if you want to filter. Or if you want to do a single quick operation across an entire thing. Sure. Not a big deal. I have seen horrible things in Python comprehensions. Again, GNU 0 when it's not necessary. It's a defensive thing. I can't say too much about that. But so look, again, a line. Fuck it. Like, this is why I don't understand the alignment. Right? Also, we've seen this code before. This should probably be a function at this point. Right? Because I'm pretty sure it had false 0 and it passed in the FD. So pass in the FD channel ID and DM username and fucking go. Make a constructor for it and be done. Alright. Make an HTTP request, whatever. G-free URL, sure, fine, whatever. Wait, where's URL defined? That's close enough, fine. It's not a big deal. But again, this fucking... IOCCC has a lot of one-liners. Great code. What is IOCCC? I should know that. It sounds familiar, but I can't place it. And again, like, if this is your... Like, I'm not trying to harp on anybody's code base or style. This is me, personally. I would never accept any of this code into any code base I am going to maintain for a long time. And like this, I would have submitted a patch to Pidgin to fix this. Right? Like, why am I doing all this bullshit? Give me a constructor to do this. Or fuck, I would have written a constructor in here to use in the meantime. Rather than doing this again and again and again. Because this is stupid. Also, here's another good thing. This doesn't handle translations. I can't believe I'm just now realizing that. But yeah, if you don't speak English, get fucked, I guess, right? Like, there's nothing in here to handle get text. Oh, the International Obfuscated C Code Contest. Yeah. I would hope they have lots of one-liners. That's their intent. That's fine. But yeah, so there's no get text here, right? So all of these should be marked for translation from get text, and they're not. So get text can't find them, right? But yeah, so like, do I need to continue? Update claw.md to reflect the current plugin state. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm not reading that. Yeah, looks good to me, I guess. LGTMIG. Just... Initial commit, a license and a readme. Okay. What's the other one? I think I can still get to it relatively easy. Like, we're not going to go through a lot of this code, but... Fuck, I keep forgetting. I have to look at his thing. So we talked about this before. We'll talk about it briefly again, too. Somebody vibe coded a 20 megabyte WhatsApp plugin for the Pidgin Messenger client. They've since deleted this post after I was like, hey, all this does is install Ho Herman's version. But 20 megabyte WhatsApp, blah, 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 right? Pidgin 2. 4.2 megs. libpurple, 4.9 megs. So we are at 9.1 megs for libpurple and Pidgin. Right? Cool. 9.1 megs for all of Pidgin and libpurple, not counting plugins. They wrote a plugin that's 20 megs. That's twice as big. It's the fucking program. And that plugin didn't actually do anything. I mean, they claim that, oh, it did a light version. Like, yeah, we call that a non-functional version. Even though they posted screenshots and stuff. They don't have the screenshots here anymore. The screenshots are on the Reddit post. It was all of Ho Herman's plugin. Right? And yeah, Bolo King, of course. Everybody that's starting is going to write shit code. That's fine, right? The problem is no one's saying, oh, you're going to replace all the programmers. You are whatever, right? Nobody said that to you as you were a new programmer and actually believed it, right? Now, they might have, tried to hype you up and stuff. Cool, right? But like, it wasn't a thing. They weren't going, oh, the people, thousands of people weren't losing their jobs because of you being a beginner programmer, right? But that's exactly what's happening with AI right now. So everyone's like, oh, it's going to replace programmers. And all the programmers are like, what? Like, wait, huh? What? Right? And they're all losing their jobs. Me included, right? I'm underemployed right now. And it's just, okay, well, I guess I'll just, continue honing my skills of rehabbing code bases and fixing things. Yeah, if anything, you created more jobs. That's the thing, right? So, so many people are just churning out so much garbage from AI-generated code that when the bubble bursts, the people that can actually fix it, there aren't going to be enough people to actually fix it, right? It's going to be the COBOL situation where, everybody that knows COBOL is slowly dying off because they're old, right? And that's fine, whatever. It's not just fact of life. But like nobody new wants to learn how to do it, right? So like there's going to be a very small subset of programmers that are able to rehab a code base. And how the other option is to start greenfield development. And if everyone's been so codependent on AI for so long, can they actually greenfield a project that's actually maintainable? I don't know. But this is the future that everyone keeps trying to drive us into faster and faster. How's it going, Subuntu? Welcome, welcome. And in the meantime, there's all this collateral damage from the AI stuff, like me not being able to work today because I couldn't use HTKeeper. Because shitty AI bots were just fucking destroying it with web request. Just found out they are calling it AI code remediation tools. Yep. It's just... I don't know. The big tech fucking hype train nonsense shit just... I don't know. I don't understand how everybody just jumps right on this shit. It's absolutely absurd. But, yeah. And like, this thing doesn't... again, no translations. The plugin here is not great. Again, this metadata stuff, this barely gets used for anything. I don't know why people put it here, but whatever. How's it going, Adam Fighter? Welcome, welcome. An Ouroboros of AI. Yep. Those of you that don't know the Ouroboros reference, that's a snake that's eating its own tail, or it's two snakes where they're eating each other's tails in a circle. It's frustrating to keep hearing how replaced in 6 months for the last 5 years and being looked at as the difficult one for not embracing AI. Yes, exactly. It is like they're saying your skills don't require any work. Get over yourself. Yeah, but like, yeah, they're worthless without you. Yeah, they're so oblivious to it too. That's the worst part. And you're just like, dude, like, okay, sure. This is kind of gross, but it's fine. Although there should be a null protector in here. The stircar is not null safe. So if username is null, this crashes. We're on line 40. Everything else is boilerplate, comments, and defines, and includes. And I already have an issue on the second actual line of code. But AI is really good at finding these flaws in programs. Yeah, because it keeps fucking putting them there. This is a C function that gets called by Go. Okay, cool. Yep. I think we have a macro, so you don't have to do it this way, but whatever. It's fine. It's the same thing. Uh-huh. Okay. Sure. And it's great to see that AIs are continuing the game connection variable naming. That's what GC is for, because it's used to say game connection, and they named it GC. But purple account, that one got updated. Cool. Let's build a template. Sure. Whatever. It's fine. Who cares? It's not great, but at least it's not using a G car. Oh, they could have used a G string for whatever. Doesn't matter. It's fine. Nothing. Not a big deal. It's fine. Again, like this is like for. So everybody knows that an AI wrote something because of M dashes, right? This seems to be the AI wrote C code tell, right? If you have an if if you have a single line if, there you go. So my stream died earlier. I had to restart, so that broke your streak. That probably broke everybody's streak. Sorry. My dumbass did 4 in sequence 1 to like 10 billion, and it killed my machine. So the stream died, and it didn't come back in time to do the disconnection prevention shit, protection, whatever. A robotic head apparently was here for both. Oh yeah, you were here before I accidentally killed everything. Yeah. But yeah, just ugh. Okay, whatever. Receive. That's definitely a style. Okay. I don't know what you mean by raw coding. I'm reviewing shit AI code and explaining to everyone why it's garbage and why I would never accept any of this code into our code base. Last project you worked on, an AI-enabled consultant filled the entire project drive of generated markdown docs, SSD, PRD, huh? And demanded the rest of the team to read them. Boss is encouraging it. Ugh. Boss is idiot. You can tell him I said that. Ugh. So this one isn't nearly as bad as the other one, which is funny because these are both supposed to be Claude. So I don't know. See me hate AI. Yeah, so the number one, if you read the stream title, Late Night Ops Fighting AI Crawlers Again, they took a bunch of my sites offline because AI crawlers are the fucking worst, and they don't respond to any net etiquette rules or even 429 HTTP status codes. And they just fucking annihilate everything and request everything until your site goes down, until you have to go and redeploy Anubis to tell them to fuck off and give them a proof of work and something to keep them busy. So, yeah. One-to-one message, not DM, a one-to-one. Okay. Different names, whatever. If the string's not empty, I think, did we create purple stir is empty, or did we do that only in Pidgin 3? But like, fucking why, man? Ugh. We end up sending them only 429 warnings before blocking them. Yeah. Okay. Let's check if push name is empty more than once in the same function. Oh my god. Where does it even use the display after this? Oh, it uses it there. So, okay, hold on. So, yeah, what the fuck? I mean, okay, maybe this is be a little bit slower, but this will be easier to read. Oh, yeah. These are the same. Yep. One's maintainable, one's not. Trying to get good on programming, but you're kind of at a loss. I feel like I should focus on making shit with AI, but you're not going to get good at programming by deferring to an AI. Now we're in an ad. Good. Thank you, Stipe. Also, typo and example code doesn't really matter. This is quite the style. This feels like a K and R function. And I can see it being confused for a K and R function. It just... I wonder how much of this was the actual author and how much of it was AI. So Adam Fighter, this is all example code of me trying to explain why the AI code is bad and for the reasons where it is, right? So like, sure, you like, there's multiple different ways you could go about this, but like, this has an extra ternary operator, or whatever. Maybe the compiler will optimize it, maybe not, right? But we could even change this, say gboolean, have push name, sure, right? It's false. Push name equals push name is not equal to null, and push name 0 is not equal to null. That's an empty string, right? So then you could say, well, you wouldn't want to set the alias to yeah. Oh, yeah, we just do it this way. Yeah, what the fuck? Alright, this is effectively what they did. But yeah, okay, so whatever. Const car star display name equals null if push name, whatever, it's not equal to that. Display name equals push name. Display name. Display name. Right? This code's functions exactly the same way. There's a little bit more code here. But oh wait, hold on. Let me this can go back to this. Alright, there's a little bit more code here, but I don't know, this feels way easier to read than this. Oh, hold on. We missed this part. Okay, hold on. We wanted to skip this part. So we're doing the gboolean have display. Oh my god. You can tell I'm getting tired. And then right. And you can change this up in other ways too. But whatever. More coupled? What does that mean? So just I changed the line numbers around, but so I can't answer your question anymore. What are you doing, mister? Hi. You go, I goops. I crust. My actions clarify. Okay, cool. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's little things like this, and they just add up over time, right? But like, okay, so look at this, right? So this isn't even aligned. It was that the user was the AI. I don't know, right? But like, okay, you made an attempt at alignment, but failed. Right? More ternary bullshit. Like, fuck, man. Okay. Sure. I don't know why you have to use a ternary for that, but alright. Like, people use ternaries for all sorts of shit, and it's just why. Again, alignment just barely off. What is, like, is there a tab in here that I'm not seeing? Nope, it's all spaces. So, like, again, is that the user or is that the AI fucking up? I don't know. And just weird indentation. Again, like, just... Single line ifs. Declarations in the middle of functions. It's just, oh my goodness. Again, nobody does this anymore because in C90, like, okay, so the C spec that allows this also makes this not necessary. Oh, no, well, wait. Okay, so they are doing struct initializers, but they also still put the nulls in. When you start doing a struct initializer, the data structure gets nulled out. You don't have to do this because it gets nulled out. The whole point of the struct initializer is to, like the old way that we used to do this, I think the Fluxer one still does this. Yeah, so the Fluxer one doesn't use the struct initializers, right? So the dot name, that's the struct member name. That's saying, so this is what you call a struct initializer. So we're declaring a structure, right? That's a static purple protocol info. That's a struct. We're giving the variable name that, and then we're defining all of it, right? You can say dot to access the member and then assign it, right? The way before C90 that didn't exist, or C99 actually, I think that didn't exist. So you had to do it this way, where you just added every single member in order, right? So you had to put the nulls in because you needed to get to the next member in the structure, right? But when you're using struct initializers, because you can put them even out of order, it doesn't matter. It's doing it based on name, right? It doesn't care. Like everything else gets everything that you didn't set gets initialized to null. It probably assigns everything to null at first and then assigns yours on top, but whatever, right? So like all of this, just not necessary. Now, okay, maybe they were planning on implementing those at some point, but okay, sure. But like you just don't need them at all right now. And this whole thing was a bad attempt at trying to make this ABI compatible so that we could change the size of it. But there's better ways to do that now. But like, it's just all sorts of shit like that. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Okay, great. My mic cut out. I can't do anything about that. I'm like, it looks like it's working fine. Sorry. Maybe I pegged it. I don't know. We're not yellow. It's all green right now. So, I was amazed the GitHub code review doesn't let you enforce style guides on tab indentation or yeah. I mean, style guide for code is just nuts. But yeah, like we want to implement something for Pidgin and the other I Am Freedom projects, but the problem is the tools are either there's too many knobs or they don't have the features we want. Like Uncrustify brags about having over 1,000 different settings to fine tune your style. Who the fuck is going to sit through and sift through 1,000 settings to get the style right? Nobody wants to do that. And like Clang format gets us kind of close, but they don't have a thing to force that all bodies have braces. So it's just like, fuck. But yeah. If true return there, true return true. Well, so the thing is, until C99, C didn't actually have a Boolean type. So stuff gets weird there, but yeah. I have no answers for how to use AI properly, because every time I look at AI, it like, this is the same problem I have when people ask me how to learn C. I don't know. I learned C 30 years ago. I don't know how to tell you how to learn it today, because the language has changed a lot in the past 30 years. Right? And people don't seem to understand that, but that's the truth, right? And it's the same deal with AI. I don't use AI. I can't tell you how to learn it. I can't tell you how to use it because I don't use it. Right? Is it a side thing when you're stuck and maybe get some inspiration? Sure, right? Mm. But yeah, there's just, it's... Oh, okay, yeah, no, that's how we do this. That's gross, but sure. Yeah, but these are the two AI generated code or plugins I've seen for Pidgin so far. I'm sure there's more. These are the two I know for sure. And just they're just riddled with issues. And like this doesn't actually do anything. They claim it does and blah blah blah. But like list icon, status types, there is a login method, there's a close method, and a chat send. And a send IM. So kinda maybe sort of works, but this just pushes everything off to go WhatsApp. So cool. But like, yep. And then this is going to be in the bridge code. That was the only thing in C, right? Yeah. Yep. So this is some Seago stuff. Cool. It's basic Seago. It's C. What? Okay. There is a global mutex. Okay. It's like, huh? And I guess it's just used for accessing accounts or everything. Like I'm not real strong with Seago. I've done a little bit with it, but not a lot. Yeah, I mean, there's like nothing here. It's yeah. You still hand code all your code? Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand how people say it writes code faster for them. So I think this gets more to the what people think. Like people have this misconception that like the barrier to writing code is how fast you can type or actually write the code. But none of that matters. Like it doesn't matter if you can type 1,000 words per minute if you don't know what the hell to type. Right? If you don't understand the problem space, it doesn't matter how fast you type on your keyboard because it's wrong. Right? And I don't mean like, oh, it's morally. I'm like, no. Like you write bad code, you write bad code. I write bad code all the time. It happens. Right? It's part of the process. But like it just the majority of my time programming is not spent typing. It's spent thinking. Now, that gets skewed a bit with the stream because a lot of the times I'm still thinking about how I'm going to program something when I'm not in front of a computer, right? When I can't actively type and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make something work and stuff like that. And all that happens up here long before I sit down at the keyboard and actually start typing it. So like, sure, once I'm ready to type it in, the speed will matter, but that's very bursty and it's not sustained. So if it takes me an extra 5 minutes to type out an extra 100 words, who cares? Right? Because it doesn't matter. People forget or don't realize that programming happens between your ears. The rest is just typing. Yeah, exactly. I think it's a slot machine right now. Like I think people are getting the dopamine hit from it. Yeah, and maybe that's it, right? Like, look at this thing I created, and it's just like, okay, sure, but yeah, it's just I don't know. We were talking earlier too about like, so people get a natural language input way to create stuff. And that's cool, but like the side effects of making that happen are just absurd, right? So we were looking earlier. I think I still have this connection up. Nope. It was on 5. Oh no, we lost it from the crash. Okay, that's fine. Oh, so my agent probably isn't here. Oh, okay, my agent is here. All right. So can you tell when the AI bots started fucking everything up here? And when I got them under control? It's more fun if we look at the last 6 hours. Oh, it's going to be a little off now, but yeah. Like, yep. The AI bots they worked around my last protection and they took the site down. This graph's real fun to look at. Can I view? $429 status codes, 618,554. 67% of the requests in the last 6 hours got a 429 status code. 186,915 got a 418 status code, which was my old protection. That number just went up. That shouldn't have gone up. Whatever. Right, that was 21%. 88% of the web requests in the last 6 hours for all the sites hosted on this machine got thrown away because they were AI bots overloading us. However, 109,082 or 12% of the web requests were actually served. 1 in 10 request was valid. Fuck AI. Like, yep. At work once, something got a public domain. We move it out of self-hosting. Yeah, yeah. Understandable, right? Doing this stuff sucks, right? And this is why everyone's like, well, just put it behind Cloudflare. And like, sure, you can do that. That is an option. It's not an option I'm going to do. Cloudflare is a single point of failure and a single point of surveillance. And yep, they already admitted to without admitting, but they proved that they are looking at traffic as they terminate SSL before they re-encrypt it and send it off to your backend. They are looking at that traffic. Well, they're looking at it both ways, but right, they have confirmed that. So why would you use Cloudflare? Like, if you have any semblance of trying to respect privacy, you shouldn't use Cloudflare. And sure, that experience in that blog post, they said they only looked at the free tier for that post. Right? They didn't ever say that they don't ever look at it for everyone. Right? So it's, yeah. But welcome to the web in the 2020s. It's fucking horrible. How do I go back? Is it that one? No, it's ours. Funny because Cloudflare focuses on privacy by default with transparent, easy to use tools suitable for all sizes. Yeah, I mean, marketing's a bitch, right? Oh, I'm on view panel. That's okay. There we go. All right, but just this is. Yeah. Can you tell what site got hit by the bots? Okay, that didn't really make a difference, but yeah. So we're using a tool called Anubis. You've probably seen this all over the web. This anime manga girl. You've probably seen her all over the web. And that's the default thing for Anubis. Like you can pay for it and like put your own custom logo and stuff. I really wish they'd offer it to open source projects to just do it, but yeah. But whatever, I don't care. As long as the bots are gone and I can actually work and use our shit, cool. Right? Instead of, you know, having to fight against the AI bots again. Yeah. One of the other Pidgin developers noticed the other night I was cloning a repo from Gnome's GitLab, and because I was cloning over HTTP, Gnome's GitLab redirected me to GitHub to download it. So actually, what was that? Fuck, what project was that? I think it was this. So, okay, it's, you know. Okay, it didn't redirect. Well, let's try this. Yeah. Oh, wait, what? Okay, maybe we misread that. We might have. It redirected me to the .git because I didn't have the .git in here. Yeah, okay, maybe that's what it was. But yeah, like the fact that we even thought that was reasonable was just like, oh yeah, like force Microsoft to serve it because fuck them guys, right? They're part of the reason we're in this mess. So yeah, use all their bandwidth. But yeah, it's just it's been a nightmare. Wow. Oh, I don't know. I'm getting super tired though. And yeah, it's 20 to 5. That would be a good reason to be getting very tired. Of course I know nobody at this time. A London Dare's going on. Interesting. We should see a lot of game developers streaming for that. The first time I came across that on Twitch, I was like, "What the hell is this? And why is everybody doing it?" Like, oh, it's a game jam thing. Like, okay. Robotic Head, you're not going to be streaming tonight, are you? You don't know my stream. Yeah, we could go to Pijlata. I never know how to say his name. I'm probably saying it wrong. I don't know Cubby Man. Cubby Man? Hoovy Man? Um, London Dare. Just go right to Vibe Coder. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Like when I ask it, like don't worry if you aren't or anything. It's like if you are going to be streaming, then okay, we'll make sure we can go and raid you, right? Bam. All right, sure, we're gonna go raid Pijlata, however you say his name. I don't know. I don't know if he has a YouTube. I think he's working on his bot. I don't know. He always uses weird stream names, like he's Mr. Robot episode or something. Okay, good. We can actually raid him. Some people they've been turning off raids and stuff, and not sure who. YouTube. I don't know that he has a YouTube, so here's a link to his Twitch. But yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna get out of here. I will maybe be back on Monday. I might reschedule. We'll see. I definitely won't be on tomorrow. We got a bunch of stuff to pick up on. We need to get Zulip working. I need to get the Twitch stuff tested a little bit more. I think I have the reconnect stuff done. I'm not positive, but we'll see. But anyways, you can find links to all my social media right over here, including a link to my Mastodon, where I do post when I'm going to go live. So if you would want to see that, you can check that out. Also, be sure to check out the official Pidgin Zulip server. We are trying to replace Discord with this. So, you know, join, hang out, have fun, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We'll see. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming by tonight. And until next time, adios.